What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yours truly, Kendrick McKnight here, back again with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We are back. We are back going beneath the surface with yours truly, Kendrick McKnight. And man, I'm by myself this time. I'm solo dolo, man. And that's completely fine. And fourth episode of this, and I decided to just do this one solo and putting content out there and continuing my vision, continuing what I want to put out there for the masses and continuing my growth, as a person, as a human being, as a man, as God's child, as someone who is striving to be just an overall better person, you know, and sharing my thoughts, sharing my opinions, my feelings, my emotions, and hoping that it goes in one ear and stays in. And just people learning from me. And so I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for my first solo video for Beneath the Surface. And something that I've thought about doing before I recorded this is, like, of course, have a particular question or topic for certain guests, for all of my guests on the show, to understand how they, you know, go beneath their surfaces and like understand struggle. How do you continue to strive? What's been your biggest struggle? Like, what makes you you? What makes you continue to go through everyday life, even when there's negativity here, negativity there, and every which way you turn, there's some type of BS going on. Like, I love hearing those stories from people. So that's a constant that I want to keep going with every guest that I have on here. But when I'm by myself, what is something that I want to continue? And I want to start off by saying that I want to do something called Beneath the Week. Beneath the week, what does that mean? Let's go beneath the week. And that is something that I thought about at work, and it's something that, you reflect back on your week. What was going on in your head Monday? What was going on in your head Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? You know what I'm saying? And just reflecting back on just your journey throughout the week and your feelings and your emotions and just overall how you were feeling throughout the week. And so I want to start that here. And this week has been good. It's been great. Um it's been challenging, with my new job. Today ended my fourth week at my new job, and I'm still learning. I'm still going with the flow. I'm still hanging in there. Not in a sense of like me wanting to quit or do something different. I am a big proponent on people going out there and challenging themselves and pushing yourself to a limit where you never thought you could go or it is humanly possible. And what do I mean by that? Like, it's easy to stay in your comfort zone, right? It's easy to stay at this job because it's just convenient, where you can just challenge yourself and be like, I want to do something different. It pays more, but it's a different kind of work that you're used to. It's going to challenge you. It's going to challenge you. It's going to, question where you are in life and why you're even doing this. But at the same time, the reward will definitely suffice and definitely help you in the end, money wise or just opportunity wise within that particular job, right? And so with this job, it's definitely a job where I get paid a lot more than the last 3, 4 jobs that I've had ever. Probably the most paid job that I ever had in my entire life, right? And it's so cool. And the work, it seems so easy, but when you constantly do it and do it and do it, and you're constantly moving around and observing your surroundings and what could go wrong and what did go wrong, and it's like, and the element of people can get to you as well because everybody's not nice, everybody's not cool, everybody's not gonna think that you're cool or nice or just like you in general, and that's the name of the game, and that can be the name of the game anywhere that you go, and especially my job, um, it's interesting. It's a battle mentally, but I keep pushing myself because that's just who I am as an individual. That's just who I am as a man, right? I do whatever it is possible to keep going. There is no stopping. There is no like of course you have the yellow light, right? You slow down, but at the same time you don't stop. There's no red light here, right? That's just my mentality. It's kind of like I think I used this example before. You are looking up a location in your phone and it gives you different directions to get to that certain destination. This destination may be shorter than this one. This destination is kind of in the you know, middle of the shortest destination versus the longest. And then you have the longest destination. In typical human fashion, we always want to take the shortest one. We don't want to be in a car. We don't want to be in an airport or airplane for ever, right? So we choose the route that is easiest. But sometimes in life, you have to take that long road. You got to take that long route to understand and truly comprehend the lessons that God is sending our way. And it's going to be hard. It's definitely something that you will have to appreciate in the end and appreciate in the moment. Appreciating it in the end is easy, but appreciating it in the now where it's tough, that takes a whole different toll on your mental, right? You come up with all types of excuses, just like why this, why that, why this, why that, like why am I here? Like God, like why do you have me in a situation where like I didn't really ask for or really just prayed for, but at the same time, you kind of understand and kind of comprehend that everything happens for a reason. You may not see it in the moment, but in hindsight, you're like, damn, man, like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why I was in this phase and that phase and this phase and that phase to become a better Kendrick, to become a better person, whoever's watching this. And it's a hard look at that reality, but that's just where I'm at with the job. Like I appreciate it. It's definitely going to be worth it for me, especially in this time in my life now where I'm officially a grown up at the age of 28, where I'm going to be finally living on my own very, very soon. which is like crazy to think and crazy to say. It's one of those things where it's like you envision certain things for yourself, but you've gotten not I'm not going to say you've gotten very um comfortable with where you are, but it's like you envision things so much where you think it's just a dream and that's just what it is. That's just where it has to be and you just have to accept your reality. But when an opportunity knocks and you go for it, and then it's like, oh, here you go. Like, really, I didn't really think it would be possible, and here we are. And so, yeah, for the first time ever in my life, I don't really count college because that was a season. That was a moment in my life where I was by myself. But this is like real life, living on my own, finally having my solitude, finally having my space to be Kendrick. And it's it's beautiful. It's honestly just like a blessing for me because when you're with people for a majority of your life, you just get comfortable with that and get content. But it's like the more you push yourself and push yourself, you push yourself and put yourself out there to be uncomfortable, it's like those opportunities will slowly come along. And yeah, here we are. I am excited. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I am very anxious that uh, I'm happy, anxious, and nervous at the same time. How about that? Happy to finally take this next stage and chapter in my life, and anxious in a way of like I can't wait. I'm so ready. Like I need to start packing now, right? But I'm also nervous. Just being honest with you guys, where because add in me being an overthinker and all those things. Like, can I handle it? Can I handle being by myself? Can I handle these now even more uh, responsibilities now that I'm on my own? Am I comfortable enough to accept that role of being, uh, not necessarily a homeowner, but just someone that is living by himself? Um, you know, bills this, bills that, bills that. Well, if something happens, like who do I call? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally on me now. And that's just the type of person I am. Like I question myself a lot. And the only person in this entire world that can hurt my feelings, someone saying something about me, is me. Someone saying something to me that I can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like taking a shower, like water going off my body. Like it is what it is. But I can talk the most crap about myself and I'm in my own shell for the next 3, 4 hours. And like I can definitely be my own worst critic, but I also have this other space in my life where I'm the most positive and I'm having all of these moments of gratitude and positivity and just proud of myself of my growth as a person, as a human, as a man. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for this next chapter in my life and just truly honored to, still be here. And, my family's still here, you know, the little amount of friends that I have are here and alive and well to see this growth, to see this next season and chapter in my life. So I'm honored, man. I'm blessed. And so this week has been it's been interesting. It's been interesting. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I love it, you know. So that's been my week. Beneath the week, it's been a challenging one, but at the same time a blessing to even have a week to look back on. So that's why I try to be grateful for the moments that I do have, even when I'm angry or upset or pissed off or any negative emotion. I still appreciate it because I'm just glad and happy to even have an emotion to feel, you know. And so I'm real big about gratitude and just appreciation of the moment and where I am currently in life and what's to come. You feel what I'm saying? And so that was beneath the week with myself. Today's been a long day. Like work was crazy. I went in at 6:45 this morning and I didn't leave until what, like 4:30, something like that in the afternoon. So today's been it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I'm recording this on Friday. I'm probably gonna post this Monday. Um, just sort of for the people that's gonna watch this, get confused of what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, Monday starts a new work week, but um again, I'm currently living in the now and I'm off tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm just gonna be in a space of again gratitude, appreciation, but also relaxation because it can take its toll, my job. But the second thing that I want to talk about with you guys, man, is like how do you stay grounded when life gets hard? I just spoke to you guys about like how hard my job can be at times, depending on the traffic and what's going on. And it's all about mental health and your your focus and your peace, right, within yourself. How do you stay grounded when life is just throwing you curveball after curveball after curveball, right? It definitely is a challenge. But for me personally, I look towards how far I've come and not allowing these little moments to get in the way of how I feel about myself and how I feel about how I've gotten here and where I come from and who got me where I am and just the little things can definitely take its big toll, right? And it goes back to my dad's passing. Like when he transitioned, because I hate saying died or dead. I despise those words. When my dad transitioned, he left a mark on me where you have to continue to go. You got to keep going. Like, why stop now? You know, I was explaining in my first episode with B where I was saying, like, my dad has always been my engine, where, like, you have to go, you have to continue to push forward, regardless of the situation, regardless of the plate that's in front of you, regardless of the roadblocks, regardless of any of these little unfortunate situations. Like you have to figure it out. You have to zig and zag. You got to zig and zag and figure out a way to keep going, period. And my dad has always grounded that within myself and my grandma as well. Um, and they put a battery in my back to like and through their deaths, like they did those things for me. And it's like I can't stop. I can't stop. I won't stop. I won't allow myself to stop. Even though I do have these moments where I want to cry and just wish all the bad things in the world, but you have to figure it out. One of the hardest lessons that I learned, more specifically in my dad's passing, was life keeps going with or without you. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna stop. Everybody in the world, there's 7 billion people in the world. Everybody's not gonna stop doing what they're doing and have a pity party for you just because you're having a bad day. Everybody's not gonna stop their daily, everyday lives just because you're mad and upset and pissed off about whatever is going on in your life. Maybe it was your fault, maybe it wasn't, but that's not how life works. You know, people still got to wake up in the morning, go to work. Kids still got to wake up and go to school. You know what I mean? Like life keeps going regardless, you know, and that is thing that I learned the positive and negative way. I can honestly say because I learned the positive way because it allowed me to not look at life in a negative way in a sense of like it's okay even through death, like it's okay to feel these things, it's okay to have these emotions, it's okay to act certain ways, but don't let that deter you from your goal, don't let that deter you from your mission that these people instilled in you, right? But it also put a negative mindset on that because the way that I healed or not necessarily moved on because I would never move on from my dad's passing, but the way that I've lived my life post my father's passing is just drowning myself within my own um like drowning myself within my own pain and hurt amongst his passing and not talking about it and not wanting to have that banter with someone and leaning on someone and this person being my new engine or being my anchor or being my shoulder that I can cry on. Like I'm good. I'm good. Like I don't need you. I'm perfectly fine. And I'll be okay. I think it's one of those things for me where I feel like I have this mindset where why talk about it, right? If you don't know what it's like to have a parent or see a parent in a coffin, like what can you understand about my pain? What can you understand about what I go through on a day-to-day basis? If you still have your parents in your life, honestly, I'm jealous. Honestly, I am in a position to want to tell you about what I go through with my dad's passing because you still have your parents. So it's like you don't understand. You would never understand until you have that experience yourself. And it's also different too. You know what I mean? it's different processing a death of a parent when you're, say, 35 years old versus 16 years old when that, the age that I was. When you're 35 years old, you're pretty much set in stone on who you are. You're pretty much you should know by then like you who you are and where you want to be in life. By that time you probably got kids, by that time you probably got a wife. Like you have your own stuff to deal with. Like of course it's going to sting with your mother or your father passing away. Like it's going to hurt, but life moves on. That transition is not going to be as hurtful as, say, a 16-year-old like I was. I'm 16 years old. I'm still figuring out what I see in the mirror and what I am and where I want to be and what life is. And now you mean to tell me I have to live the rest of my life without this huge, massive figure, man, that's supposed to teach me how to live this life as a man. Now I have to figure out the shit by myself. It's like it's hard. And my way of dealing with it, which is dealing with it on my own, not talking about it. What's to talk about? Of course, I mention my dad here and there with, you know, people that's in my life, friends, family, uh, people that I saw as potential partners. Like, of course, I mention my dad, but do I talk about him in depth? Like, no, for what? And so I I struggle with that a lot, right? Trying to open up about my dad, in fear of this person not understanding enough, or not gonna say like this person doesn't care, but I struggle with discussing my vulnerability, whether it's about my dad or anything, and this person leaving due to me being quote unquote emotional or being vulnerable and trying to lean on them for emotional support, because in that quote unquote uh manly thing is like you don't show emotion, like you don't um lean on your woman, like the woman lean on you, right? And so like I've had those moments where um you know certain women drew back from me because of me being vulnerable and because of me being emotional. And here I am, still single, crazy. But that's not going to deter who I am and where I want to be, and why I want to be a better person and be a better partner for someone later down the line. And all I can do is hope that, you know, one day someone understands and gets to a point and gets me out of that shell and allows me to be comfortable enough to talk about him. But we shall see about that. If I do that, this person has to be the one. Like I'm going to marry this woman one day. Like I don't talk about my dad, period, right? And for you to get that out of me and discuss certain things about him, or certain stories with me and him, you have to be the one. Like I'm wasting stories on you. You know what I mean? Um, but that's a crazy thing to say. But I'm just saying. Um, I take that seriously. I take my dad's death seriously, and that's not something that I talk about. In the early going of a talking stage or anything like that. It has to build to a certain degree. And yeah, that's how I stay grounded. Remembering who got me where I am and um keeping myself grounded too, man. Like my goals, my ambition, my dreams and where I want to be in life, you know what I mean? And so it's it's interesting. It's a very interesting life that I live. And all I can do is hope and pray that someone comes along and understands it and don't shit talk it and judge, and so understand me throughout all of my uh craziness, weirdness, all the things, you know what I mean? And accepts me for me, you know? And I feel like also I've been that guy that gives women like 70% or like 80 of myself. There's always been that 20 or 30 that always kind of like be afraid to show. Because, I've been hurt before a lot. I've been heartbroken. And so I feel like there's certain aspects about myself that I don't show in fear of this person leaving, in fear of this person looking at me in a different way, in fear of feeling the same way that I felt with my dad's passing, which was abandonment. I have abandonment issues. Um, that's why I try not to get close to people. You know what I mean? Like I speak here and there, like, what's up? Like, okay. And then I keep it moving. Like I try not to do too much while also doing a bare minimum just to keep it not weird or like crazy. But yeah, that's me. That's something that I deal with. Um so I think also too it's one of those things where you're afraid. I'm afraid of uh not commitment because I can commit myself to someone easily. Once we're locked in, like we're locked in, I am afraid of commitment because my longest relationship was 8 months. And even with that, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the greatest. I'm afraid to commit myself is like this person is going to wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm tired of this guy, you know? And just everything that we've built, everything that we've done, it means nothing to you now, all of a sudden, you know? That's what I mean. Like, not in a way of like me questioning myself. Can I commit? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm the most loyal guy ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like once we're locked in, we're locked in. And again, I live my life with a gigantic shield of surrounding myself that's invisible. And for any person, especially a woman, to ever crack down that shield and break those walls and you're actually inside, boom, you got me. Whether we're friends or potential partners or there's some possibility there, man, like we're locked in, we're good, right? And the only way that you can ever get out is if I take you out. You ain't leaving. You did all of this work to get in, and the only way out is me taking you out, right? And I'm real it's real easy for me to shoo away people that's on the outside of it. But once you're in, it's gonna be hard, but at the same time for my sanity, like you're not fitting the bill. You're not doing the necessary things that you did trying to get in. Now you're in. It's like, really? Like, you know what I mean? And so I am afraid of commitment because not because of myself, but like on this person's behalf. Is this person really, really about me? Is this person really willing to want to get married to me, want to have a family with me, and spend forever with me? Or just gonna nitpick about certain flaws that I have and exploit them whenever we have an argument or a disagreement or miscommunication? Because I've had that before. Um, and so everything just stems from hurt, whether it's from my dad or uh, past relationships or just partners I had and all those things, man. So I'm a lot to handle. But one thing about me, man, like I'm very honest. I'm very concrete, like and front and just honest. Like here I am. I have all these positive aspects about myself, but here you go. Like I come with a lot of shit. So buckle up your seatbelt and enjoy this roller coaster. You have time now to get off. I'm just letting you know up front because there's so many guys out here where they don't tell you shit, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, then boom, and these guys spent all this time, all this energy. You did this, you did that, uh, all these things, making memories, building a connection, building a bond, and then boom. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Da 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 da. It's like all this time was wasted for what? You know what I mean? And so like I'm honest, man. Like I tell you up front in the talking stage to give you the option to say, hey, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I don't know if I but just speaking truthfully, everybody has shit going on with themselves. Whether it's men and women, it's just up to you if that's something that you can push over and work towards as a couple. You know what I mean? And so I try my best to accept people as they come because I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But let's work on each other to become better people and ultimately a beautiful couple. Like I believe that. I believe that. And it's something that, you know, can be a lost arc in today's world because people are not patient. People are not patient. They want the now. They want you to be where they are now. And it's like you have to build towards that. You know what I mean? And it's it's an interesting concept. Dating is not easy in today's society, but I believe in my heart that there is someone out there for me. I will get that fairy tale ending of wife, kids, happily ever after. Um, it's just my head sometimes, man. It gets the best of me, and think, well, maybe you know what? Maybe I don't deserve love. Or maybe I don't. deserve that family. Maybe I don't need to have kids. Maybe I don't need a relationship. Maybe I need to be alone. Maybe I'm not fit to love someone, right? Maybe I'm not fit to be with someone. And these are the constant conversations I have in my head. And it's just a constant battle with my head and my heart. But majority of the time, my heart wins and continue to strive forward and believe and pray, of course. And we'll see about it. So we shall see about that. But yeah, that's how I stay grounded. I don't know how I even went on that whole tangent about relationships and all that. But yeah, originally that's how I stay grounded. Remembering who my father raised me to be, who my grandmother raised me to be, my mom, my other grandma, my brothers, believe it or not, my sister, right? And it's something that I take pride in and really focus on, which is not only just making the people that I love proud, but also making myself proud. That's how I stay grounded, you know? And so, yeah. Thirdly, still kind of like going with the motions of my dad. Thirdly, why do we struggle to forgive ourselves? You know, it took me a long time to forgive myself through my dad's passing. Mostly because, not because it's solely my fault that he passed away. It was just one of those things where it was just his time. And I just wasn't accepting of that. And I couldn't forgive myself because I blamed myself within my dad's passing. Um, in a way of like, I should have called him more. I should have texted him more. I should have appreciated what was in front of me for 16 years. And I didn't. And I hated that. I hated myself for a long time because of that. And I couldn't stand what I saw in the mirror. And I could not forgive myself for at least at least 9, possibly 10 years after his death. And it took a lot of soul searching, a lot of um praying, of course, and just a lot of understanding to finally let that go and finally be able to look at myself in the mirror and smile and say, hey, like, it's okay. It's okay. It was his time. And what he did for you during his time on this earth for you was definitely beneficial. What he did for you on this earth when he was here um, definitely was impactful because who you look at who you are now. He's definitely looking down on you. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's proud. So what's to not forgive yourself about? And it's something that I have to constantly remind myself of because I definitely have my moments where I'm just drowning myself with thoughts of course, missing him and wishing he was here and needing his advice, needing his guidance, needing his thoughts on any and everything that I got going on. within that manly perspective, rather than having me figure it all out on my own, right? And it's hard, man. It's freaking hard, but it's definitely something that I hope that I can overcome, you know? Um, Being able to heal is such a hard thing, especially something that massive at such a young age. It's definitely hard. Something that I comically, not comically, but it's not because it's not funny, but something that I like to say to myself is that my life really started when my dad passed. The first 16 years of my life, it was cool, and whatever. But my life started when my dad passed. That's when life really started to like be life for me. Like I said, I didn't really appreciate anything. I didn't really live life to have goals or dreams or aspirations. I didn't live for anything. I didn't stand for anything. I was just a kid, just being a kid, not thinking about the future, just living day by day, and whatever happens tomorrow happens. Deal with it then. But kind of going back to the second topic is like my dad's passing grounded me. It made me still. It made me be still and understand the meaning of life. Even though I learned all these positive aspects, I also dealt with all the negativity too. I didn't know what depression was before my dad's passing. I didn't know what mental health was before my dad's passing. I didn't know what anxiety was or um, any of these negative things because I had no reason to feel them at all. But now with him being gone, it's like, oh, okay, I I I get it. It's life. You know what I mean? But forgiving myself has been hard. Um, but it's something that was definitely needed. Definitely something that I had to just give myself because if I can't forgive myself, I can't forgive God, right? I can't, it's easy to say, oh, I forgive you, God, for whatever, but like you have to be able to find it in here to forgive him too. It's easy to say that, but do you really mean it without this? And I had to, again, going back to the conversation I had with B, like in my first episode, it's like during those moments of my dad's passing, it's like I blamed everybody under the sun for his death, and even God himself. Like I legit said things that you should never say about any God that you worship. Just out of hurt, me being heartbroken and just being upset at the world and not addressing it to myself or with myself, right? And so, and it took me a long time, very long time, 9 years exact, maybe 10, to wake up one day and just be like, man, like you need to chill. Like you need to relax. You need to finally see it in your heart to just forgive and be like, it's okay. Um, It's okay to feel these things, of course, but don't retaliate. Don't just continue to push everybody over, be a bulldozer, and just be an a-hole to everybody just because you're mad and you're upset that your father's not here. You wanna know why? Because you're not the only person in the world whose parent is gone. You're not the only person in the world whose impactful person in their lives are not here anymore, whether it's a parent, a grandparent, a cousin, a sister, a brother, um, anybody, aunt, uncle, you know what I mean? Let's die that down and be like, relax, Ken. Like you gotta chill. You know what I mean? And like be like okay with the fact that everybody's not you. Everybody doesn't see the way things see the things that you see 'em, right? The way you see them. And so that's a pill that I had to swallow, right? And um yeah, like my way of healing has been very interesting, not speaking about it or saying anything about it, but just find it in my heart to um forgive and just heal within myself. And holding myself accountable. I'll say that. Holding myself accountable for sure. And be okay with that. Being okay with letting that go, letting that fear go, and letting things just spiral positively, right? And being okay with the fact that, hey, like, I understand you held that against whoever for a long time, but like it's okay to let go and be okay with the fact that yes, he is gone, but at the same time, his spirit is within you. He sees you every day. They see you every single day. So now the ball is in your court. What are you gonna do with it? And my last thing I'm talking about, man, is just being your own coach, right? Again, holding yourself accountable, setting goals and having those self beliefs within yourself, right? It's easy to continue to strive and strive and strive for this person and that person and this person and that group of people, right? But the most important person in this world that you have to maintain and have that belief system within is a person that you see in the mirror. Person you see in the mirror, right? That's the person, that's your star player, that's your superstar, that's your legend, right? That's your GOAT. You feel what I'm saying? So making sure that person is good and great and have that belief within themselves or herself that they can do anything in the world is very crucial. Very crucial. You can have all the energy in the world for, like I said, this person, that person. But when you lay down at night, you think back, like, man, what did I put in myself? What did I do for me? What what did I do wrong? And you're not fulfilling yourself because you're not paying attention to yourself. You're not doing anything for yourself. You're so people driven, right? So I've learned a balance of being there for people, of course, my family, but also drawing a line and being like, hey, hold up, let me do this for me. Let me take myself out to the movies. Let me take myself out for lunch, or let me spoil myself and get a pair of jeans or an outfit just doing something for me, right? or going on a shopping spree at an outlet, right? Or taking yourself out of the country, or just having a weekend scroll to the beach or whatever. Well, it's not beach season anymore. It's getting colder. It's getting colder. So don't go to the beach. But go to like a mountain something. You know what I mean? Go fish. You feel what I'm saying? But it's something that, or go to a basketball game, go to a football game, right? Go to the NFL game, so go to an NBA game, right? Treat yourself. That is something that is very mandatory, I would say, for anybody. Anybody. And that is something that I have to, because I was on a solid run for a while. I let that go a little bit, not on purpose, but just like I've been so focused on, the future, of course, my podcast, going beneath the surface, right? My internship, doing articles for them, and the occasional appearances on their podcast, right? And just the consistency of social media posting and all these things. Of course, with my place, right, that I'm moving into, and also still holding down the fort for my family, going this place with my mom, and taking this person, and taking my brother and my other brother to this and that place, and make sure they're good. Like, I suppress myself with so much responsibility, where I forget, like, oh, like, okay, like I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, I need to check out a little bit, and take myself out and do this and do that. So I have a lunch date that I plan on having for myself solo next week when I get paid, and just doing something for me, And so I'm looking very forward to that. I might shop. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm also real big in cologne. That's something, you know, for any potential partners out there that's going to watch this. Like, I'm real big on cologne. I love smelling good. I'm real big on my hygiene. Um, so I might buy me some more cologne and all those great things. And yeah, I love cologne. Christmas is coming up real soon. Christmas is coming up real soon. So a cologne set or some type of grooming kit for, I don't know, like my beard or anything like that. I'm just putting that out there for the masses. Like, that's something that I appreciate, right? Um, or any type of oil or head care for my bald head. Like, you feel me? So yeah, like I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm real big into those things. Being your own coach, suppressing yourself, making yourself accountable for what you do and what you say and how you come across, and setting these goals for yourself. You say you want to do this by such and such time. Okay, cool. What are the little steps to do for you to get to that ultimate goal? What can you do? What can you say, honestly? And having that self belief within yourself that you can do any and everything in this world possible, as long as you have the mindset. You know what I'm saying? So, man, this is good. This was good. I didn't have true expectations on this one. Going beneath the surface, episode 4, episode 4, you know, and this is cool, you know, going beneath the surface, showing you guys another vulnerable side of myself, talk about things that I talk to myself about, and I put it out there for you guys to watch, peep, listen, engage, and draw off an opinion off of, and so Um, hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 of myself, solo dolo. Nobody's around. Nobody has time for me, but it's okay because I love me and I love what I got going on with this podcast. So I'm gonna keep going, keep it pushing. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, I have, far as I know at the moment, 2 planned podcast guests uh coming on. Um and one of them is a repeat. B. B is coming back. She is coming back for sure. Queen B is back. And this time it's gonna be role reversed. It's gonna be her. This is not an interview. I don't know how many times I have to say to people where I introduce the idea. This is not an interview. This is a conversation. This is not an interview. Even though, yes, I'm the host, even though, yes, I am the one asking the questions, this ain't no interview. This ain't me just asking you questions. You answer, and then boom, next question. You answer a question, boom, next question. No, I'm engaging too. I'm answering the questions too from my perspective. You feel what I'm saying? So what we talking about? This is not an interview. This is not an interview. So with that being said, um, yeah, B is coming back. That's confirmed. And she's going to be the one leading the way with the questions and asking me certain things. And we can engage in conversation like that. Um, very much looking forward to that. Any opportunity to talk to her, like I am all game. And I also have another guest coming on. Um, he is someone that I look very forward to talking to more. We spoke here and there at my previous employment, and so I'm looking very forward to this full blown conversation and what can come out of it. So you got those 2 guests coming on. Um, Definitely going to start doing more solo videos, and I already wrote down the topics. And yeah, that next one is gonna be pretty heat. It's gonna be heat. It's gonna be heat. But man, this is good. This is great. I love this. Um, Beneath the Surface, man, podcast with yours truly, Kendrick McKnight. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, yes, sir.